What if I told you that failure wasn't the opposite of success, and every failure you've ever had is quietly leading you to your greatest comeback? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another Run For Not From, week 10. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you're liking it so far, like, subscribe, leave a comment. And in this week, we're talking about failure and how it leads you to success. Everyone's got to fail, but let's see how we can all get back up and get moving again. We live in a world that admires the gold medals, the Instagram reels, the overnight successes in life. But what we don't get to see from all that is the pain, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, and the broken bones along the way to get those great successes. All those little failures along the way to lead to an overarching, amazing success story. And we need to talk about that more. We've got to be willing to fail to get there. Failure is a redirection. It's a course correction. It's the world testing you to see how badly you truly want it. And if you want it enough, all those little failures are going to add up over time, and eventually it will lead to your greatest achievements. I remember one of the funniest failures in my life, and it was when I was the lead map reader in the Lake District. I was taking my group on our journey to get back to camp, and by camp there was a beautiful little pizza restaurant. And I remember thinking, I've got this is easy for me. There's nothing that's stopping me right now. And I soon realized about halfway through, about 6 hours in, we were on the complete wrong path. It was about the same distance again to get back to those pizza restaurants. It was about 2 hills we had to climb, maybe a mountain, I could be exaggerating, but I had to figure it out and I had to get us there. And it was looking at that map, accepting my failure and looking at the course correction, and my God, when did we get to that pizza restaurant? It tastes so much better. That great success after realizing we had failed, so much worth it. It was so very worth it by the end. Another one of my failures. I am not a good person for exams. Never have been. I've got considerably better as I got older, as I started studying things that I really wanted to study. But at school, me and exams didn't mix. I've definitely failed more exams than I've passed. But those hardships, and I promise you they were hard times, sometimes looking at my mum and dad in the eye when they knew I could have done better, but I just couldn't do it. It didn't click, it didn't work. And even though they were disappointed, I know now that my life hasn't been dictated by exams. I'm doing just fine. I will continue to do just fine. In fact, I know I'm going to thrive, even though I've failed more exams than I've passed. But those failures have taught me that maybe I do need to work a little bit harder than others. Maybe I do need to sacrifice a little bit more so I can pass and so I can thrive and succeed in life. But how do we bounce back from failures, whether they're big failures or small ones? And I think the true test of getting back from a failure is just starting again, doing the small things. It's not a big leap, it's not huge steps, it's just getting back on the horse and get moving again. You know, we're not asking you to move mountains here. We're just trying to get you back on the correct path. It's about making small changes, being consistent, and being intentional. Let's say that one more time. Small changes, consistently, intentionally. And that's all it is. Never stop, never give up. Get back up again and again and again. And these small changes, these micro efforts over a long period of time have a macro effect. Little by little, choice by choice, brick by brick, we're building something better than before. These micro changes make habits, and habits make a lifestyle. Never give up on what you really want to do, and the world won't give up on you either. I'm sure of it. And these little choices that you can make are everywhere. It can be as small as getting up 10 minutes earlier, reading one page of that book instead of none. Maybe it's the hard choice of throwing out all the crappy food rather than finishing it and not buying it again. That's one goal that I always set myself at Christmas and Easter. I enjoy those holidays. They are holidays of food and fun for sure, but I set myself a date, a window. Maybe it's just a week, maybe it's only 2 days, but over those 2 days, I eat everything that I've got given, everything I've bought, and at the end of it, I either donate it or I throw it away. Don't just finish it, get rid of it. No one climbs the mountain in a single stride. If you're facing failure, good. It means you're trying. Do not fear the fall, fear staying down. Always, always, always get back up. And if you do that, there's nothing that can stop you. Find your friends, use your family, take them on that journey with you. When life tells you, is it the destination or is it the journey? I like to think it's the company. Okay, it's everyone's favorite time of the week. It's the quote of hashtag run for, not from. And because we're talking about failure, there were so many quotes to choose from. And you're gonna call me a cheater, but we're gonna have to have two this week. The first one comes from Thomas Edison. Died at the age of 84, American entrepreneur and business person. He was the inventor of the light bulb, and this quote is important to that. He said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work." Let that sink in. 10,000 ways it hasn't worked just to get that one that does. That's failure to reach success. And the final quote of this week's hashtag run for, not from comes from Samuel Beckett, an Irish poet, playwright, and novelist. And he said, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail again, fail better." Let me know what you think.